something that perhaps a lot of you don't realize, that reached me and rippled all the way back to my solitary confinement cell in Guantanamo Bay. And that is, an American soldier came to me one day in 2004 and he said, millions of people have marched in Yall streets against the war. And that was the first time during my period in incarceration that I had any hope at all that people in this country were against the foreign policy from the United Kingdom and the United States of America as well. It was the first time, because after being beaten and tortured and stripped naked and humiliated and degraded, I thought nobody gave a damn. And if there's anything that made me feel proud to be British, because I'm regarded as part of a fifth column these days, it was the knowledge that millions of people had marched in the streets that I knew so well. I just want to tell you something though, it's so important to recognize this when they're saying the radicalization process, why is it happening? Let me tell you something. In Afghanistan, when they took me and many other people into detention, we were stripped naked, we felt the cold blade against our bare skin, ripping off our clothes, being beaten, punched, spat at, dehumanized, shaved, dogs barking over us. If somebody would have asked me and showed me a photograph before that and said, of Abu Ghraib, do you know, Moazzam, which country would have done this? I could have told you easily. It would have been the Americans. And there's one thing that people need to understand when you're talking about Afghanistan or Iraq. Britain has a history in both places. Britain has invaded Afghanistan more times than Genghis Khan. The last time the Britons were in Iraq, it was Fallujah of all the places that gave them the biggest resistance. And it seems that this needs to be an understanding of the history that took place there, because at present there isn't. And there is no need for this war to continue other than people trying to save face. Faces that have lost any respect, if ever they had it to begin with. And it's the people of this country, people like you, who've given people like me and the community that I'm from some hope, because we, as the Muslim community, are the new Irish today. We are the demonized community. We are the terrorists. We are the IRA. We are the Republicans. That's who we are today. And it's open season upon us. Detention without trial didn't just take place in Guantanamo, it's happening here today. People are being detained and held and not even told what crime it is that they've committed for their lives to have been destroyed. And if this continues, then nobody will be able to recognize Britain. The last thing Tony Blair said after the July the 7th bombings was that we will never allow the terrorists to change our way of life. He was right about that, because he was going to do it himself. He was going to change our way of life, and he has begun to sow the seeds of dissent between communities, which didn't exist in the way that it does now. So I thank everybody here, each and every person who's here, who's braved these rains that are British in nature and unite us. And I hope that we go from strength to strength, not only calling for a change to Blair's ended reign, but the end of reign of the Brown administration, and the hope that at least that he will learn from the mistakes of his predecessor. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Moazzam, and of course you have our